And we are live. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Dan Abella. I am the organizer of the Psychedelic Film Festival, and also I run the New York NLP Institute. And for those who are wondering about the two, they're very much connected, as you shall soon find out. So, the subject of today's talk is stepping out of your timeline. By that, you might ask, well, what is my timeline? Oh, stepping out of my personal history. Okay, so personal history is a term that I usually use, and it's used in shamanism as well as in other modalities to describe the totality of our beliefs, the things that have happened to us, how we describe ourselves. That is, how do we see ourselves? Where are we born? Who are we? What are our thoughts? What are our beliefs? What are our ways of interacting with the world? What are our attitudes? Those are represent personal history, and I will also use the term timeline as well interchangeably. But for our purposes, it's personal history, which is the sum total of everything that represents you. That is what you think is you. I'm an organized person. I like to wake up early in the morning. I like to wake up late in the morning. I like to wake up at 2 in the afternoon. I'm punctual. I procrastinate. Whatever it is the sum total of everything that makes you. At least that's what you think. So our goal here is stepping off personal history. And you might ask, well, why would I want to do that? Well, very simply, since personal history represents a sum total of everything that we are, stepping off it gives us a glimpse into what's possible. Now, this is something the shamans as well as uh, health modality practitioners have been telling us for a long, long time. Now, the way they usually go about it is you want to change a belief. That is, uh, I believe that I am too old to learn, for instance, or I have a belief that there's never enough time in my life, or I can't make enough money, or I just I don't have enough friends, and I'm just etc. I'm not enough X. So the way most modalities work is they try to tackle one specific belief and they try to weaken it, thereby allowing for the possibility of another belief to take its place. In NLP, we have a term which is submodality, which is essentially taking what the submodality is the elements that represent the strong belief and put it into the doubtful mode, and then put the strong new belief into that old belief. But that's too complicated. It already sounds too complicated. So, what I'm suggesting today is we do something a little bit different, something that might surprise you, a way of stepping off your personal history. So imagine your personal history represents a huge line of things that have happened to you. I usually refer to as a timeline, a series of events and experiences that are sort of order in time. But you could also just think of a general description of all your beliefs and everything you are. So the first thing I want you to do is the following, and follow me on this, is to take a notepad and a pencil and take a couple minutes and start writing a few things about your life. Write down your personal history. Take a couple of things, good things and bad things, and mediocre things. Think about things you like to change. Think about things you're really happy about. Think about experience that represents you, who you are, good and bad, and not in between. So take a couple of minutes. Let's just grab a pencil and a pad. Very important. And do this. I'm going to wait for you guys to step up and do this. Take a couple of minutes. Take a couple of minutes and look for a pad right now and a pencil. This is very important if you want to step off your personal history. If you don't, that's fine as well. Okay, take 30 seconds more. Just grab a pen, grab a card, grab a piece of paper. Okay, good? All right, excellent. So now what you want to do is Write down maybe a paragraph worth of things that represent you, starting with your name, your age, your ethnicity, where were you born, who are your friends, your best friends, who are your what do you do for a living? Little things, almost like you were trying to converse with yourself, have a little conversation. Just take one paragraph. Okay, take a few minutes and make sure in that paragraph you include beliefs that you would like to change about yourself. That you really, but you're stuck with it. Like for instance, procrastination, like to make more money. I never make enough money, or I always end up in bad relationships. Whatever it is, just write it down. Very important to actually use your hand. Don't type it. Don't enter into your computer. Neurologically, it's better to use your hand while you're writing down on a piece of paper, pen or pencil, doesn't matter. But just write it down. Okay. So one paragraph of this, a couple of maybe 4 or 5 beliefs. I am X. Things about yourself, good, bad, in between. Just write them down. I'm gonna wait here. 30 seconds. Just whatever comes up. Whatever comes up. Whatever comes up. Good. Oh, I'm this. I'm that. My name is so and so. This is my age. This is what I like to do. This is who I am. This is who you are. And also include beliefs or things you like to change, things that you're feeling happy about as well. Things that are in between. I'm a spiritual person. What I do, I do this practice. I do my meditation, whatever. Just write it down. Just a series of quick descriptions about who you are. Okay, I'll give you 30 seconds more because the fun starts just in a little while. Okay, good. All of you have the belief. I'm hoping that you at least have one paragraph of things that describe you. I'm sure you can write a whole page, several pages, but one paragraph, a few things. Okay. So now I want you to take this. Imagine that you have the paragraph, the piece of paper, and just take it out and put it right in front of you, and just look at it, read it, and first notice what are you feeling right now as you're reading that. Certain things that really really brighten your day, other things that you would say, but just get a sense. Good. Now I want you to take that pencil again and write down right below that the beliefs you would like to change, that are stubborn, that are in the way, that kind of like prevent you from really growing or evolving or learning or moving on with your life. Just write down below, maybe below that paragraph, maybe in the following paragraphs, beliefs that you would like to change, that you're not happy with right now about who you are. Yeah, a couple beliefs. Good. Now look at those. Now take that same piece of paper and stretch it out in front of you. Then move it away. Move that away and look at those old beliefs that you have about yourself that you would like to change. Notice how you feel about it. Don't read the paragraph that describes you. Just read only the beliefs that you would like to change. Notice how you feel when you move those beliefs or the description closer up and far away. You notice something different. Have you also noticed that the beliefs seem a little bit more brittle, a little bit weaker now that they're far away? As you look at them far away, notice how do they really represent you? Those old beliefs. Read them. The ones you want to change. If you like me, you know that as you move that page away from you and you read those old beliefs, You begin to think that perhaps those beliefs can be changed. Those old beliefs that you've been wanting to change for a long time, perhaps you can change them right now. Well, at least there is a room for doubt. Notice, take that same piece of paper and move it all over your visual field. In fact, I want you to take that piece of paper and move it to your lower right, and look at those beliefs right now, the ones that you used to think you couldn't change. How do you feel right now about those beliefs? Look at them right now. To your right. Notice there's a little shift, isn't it? Something's happening. Okay, so bring that piece of paper back. Now, put it back on the table and look now at your biography, at your at your personal history. Just read it. Read it internally, or you can read it out loud. My name is, I was born this year, this is my age, this is what I do for a living, I like to do X, I'm not crazy about Y, this is my life. And notice how your attitude towards yourself is beginning to change as you're beginning to read your personal history. You're probably beginning to say, well, there's certain things I'd like to add to it. It's not complete, right? I like there are other things that I like to take away, but they don't really represent me, don't they? As you read your personal history, now read it holding that piece of paper, just your personal history. Begin to realize that there are other things you like to add, right? So add them right now. Add a few more things to that personal history. Maybe flip the page and write it on the other side. Good. How do you feel now? Just read the first page, then flip it and read the other section about your personal history. Feels that's still not enough, right? That doesn't quite describe you. Well, I got news for you. Doesn't matter how much you write about yourself. That includes, even if you can write all your thoughts and all your memories, you're more than your personal history. You could write and write and write for days and still find things about yourself, learn things about yourself you didn't know. Just remember that right now. You're more than your personal history. Whatever you think you are, whatever you write about yourself on a piece of paper, it's just a shadow of who you are. You're much more than that. And just say that to yourself right now. Take a few seconds, maybe with your eyes closed, and say, I am more than my personal history. Say it again. I am more than my personal history. I am more than my personal history. Open your eyes. Now read that biography of yourself again. Read it. And after you read it, close your eyes and say, I am much more than my personal history. I am much more than my personal history. I am much more than my personal history. Okay, good. Open your eyes. So, how do you feel now? You feel you've created a space where something can happen, where a possibility can become reality. That's something maybe a few minutes ago was not possible, and now you're getting a sense that there is something there. You're picking up on a fine thread of possibility, a fine thread of something that can lead to something better, a breakthrough, right? Good. Hold that feeling. In fact, I want you to find a spot in your body where you want to hold that feeling, maybe in your heart, maybe over your stomach, somewhere where you usually connect to places of being grounded and secured and safe. Because that feeling represents a key component to what we're going to do next. So find a place in your body where you usually feel rested, when you want to be, when you're relaxed. It's like, oh yes, or you're feeling a sense of possibility, your heart opens up. Find that one spot, place your hand over that spot, and now say to yourself, I am much more than my personal history. Maybe eyes open, eyes closed. I'm much more than my personal history. And really feel it. Feel it in your body, not just in your head, but in your body. Feel it. Feel it. Does it resonate? Is this a good spot? Because you always can change it, but does this feel like, yes, this is a good spot? I am much more than my personal history. Hold on to that. Because the next part of the exercise, we're going to do something magical, or you're going to do something especially magical. Okay, so hold on to that. Now, I want to preface this by saying that a lot of our beliefs that we hold, they're filters. And sometimes we identify the filter with reality. Now, a lot of techniques in NLP and when you do psychedelics, for a short time, they can open up those filters, expand them. So now you can see more, you can get more light, you can get more possibility. But for a lot of people, those filters close down again. Because in order for you to stay open, you got to be aware of where that openness has come from, and it comes from you. And by simply by saying, I am more than my beliefs, I'm more than my experience, I am more than my memories. And really feel it in your body, in your heart, in your throat, in your gut, somewhere. And really begin to understand that no matter how difficult things can get as we go about our life, you're more than that. And you have more power than that. Keep that in mind. Because there's that, we're touching upon a wellspring that has been spoken of in many traditions, whether it be Taoism, Zen, Chan Buddhism, Christian thought. It's a sense that there is a sea of possibility that is bubbling inside you, that is waiting to come out and manifest. And as long as you're tapping into that sea of possibility, and you're aware you're more than just your actions, you're more than just your thoughts, you're more than just your memories and your beliefs, you're allowing that sea of possibility to open up. So what we're going to do with that thought in mind, what we're going to do next is something that I did a couple of weeks ago, and I found that it was truly magical. Let me give you a little background. I just had been, what I did is I wrote down, just like you just did right now, my personal history. Then I asked my unconscious, my wise self, or that part of you that the intuitive self, you might call it, was okay just for a few seconds to step off my personal history. I wrote down all these limiting beliefs about myself, these limiting possibilities. We all do. But I asked my unconscious, or that wise person inside you, or your intuitive self, or your spiritual center, if it was okay just for a brief moment to step off my personal history. And I got a yes. So what I did is I went to my quote unquote meditation chair. I sat there and I started just breathing. We're gonna do this next, so don't worry, but just listen. And this is the key. The first thing that comes up, the first unpredictable thing, whether it be a thought that comes up in your head, or something in the environment, or something, a feeling in your body, the very first unpredictable thing, you grab it, you hold on to it, and you start to ruminate. What is the meaning of this? What we refer to in NLP is hold it in second attention or the unconscious. And when I did that, uh, as I started meditating, within a few seconds, I got a phone call from someone that I hadn't spoken with in years, quote unquote, unpredictable. So after I was done with the phone call, I immediately started to ruminate about the meaning of the call, not just the fact that haven't spoken with it. Why did I speak to this person for so long? And lo and behold, I started to get some deep insights into some beliefs I had about myself. And this opened up the door for that belief to allow for other possibilities to take place. So now we're going to do what I did, you're going to do yourself. Okay. So let's start out with the first step. Step A. Take a few seconds right now. Look at your personal history. Take a few seconds and ask your unconscious or your higher self or your spiritual self, that part of you that you trust, if it's okay for you to step off your personal history just for a few seconds, for a short moment, a moment. Close your eyes. First, look at your personal history. Close your eyes. And now ask that part of you, go inside, take a deep breath, and exhale. Okay, good. Now I want you to go inside yourself as your unconscious or your spiritual self, that part of you that is your intuitive self that you usually go to when you're asking for answers. If it's okay for a short while to step off, look at the world outside your personal history and wait for an answer. Just take about a minute or so. Just go inside, take a deep breath. That's right. Just go inside and ask that part. Is it okay for me to step off my personal history? Good. 30 seconds. It should be a good feeling or a voice in your head or a feeling or an image that lets you know it's okay, let's do it. Just for a few seconds. Good. Great. First of all, thank that part, that aspect for doing that. Okay, so now what you're going to do, you're going to close your eyes for a second. And now you're going to ask, you're just going to start combing through your life. Just like 30 seconds, there's no purpose. It's whatever thoughts come to mind that are unpredictable. Whatever happens in front of you right now. It could be a thought, it could be a feeling. It could be something in your environment that takes place, like a synchronicity. You should do this within a minute or so. So start breathing, start counting 10 to 1 continuously. 9, 8. And as you open your mind to the unpredictable, that thought that, wow, this occurred to me right now. Or this thought occurred, or this just something happened to me right now. Or somebody just called, or something fell, something unpredictable. Okay, take a minute or so. Take a minute. And when you find that thing, that thought, just let it go. Let your left brain analytical consciousness just retreat in the background be focused on something unpredictable that's happening right now. A feeling in your environment or a thought. Good. What did you find out? Anything? Now that you've latched onto that unpredictable element, ask your unconscious, what's the meaning of this? Now you're watching it and grasping it outside your timeline. So if someone comes to mind, for instance, what is it? Now you're watching this person through outside your timeline without the filters. What does that mean to you right now? Or something, or a memory pops up. What is the meaning of that? Explore it. Be open to its message, or something in the environment. Good, good. Now, I invite you to do this exercise after we finish with this session on your own. Because right now, interacting and there may be a little bit of a distraction. If you got something, that's great. Shoot me an email or text me. If you didn't, that's okay too. Because the essentials of the exercise, to recap, are the following. A, ask your unconscious if it's okay for a short while for you to be able to look at the world outside your timeline, outside your personal history. And if you get a yes, thank your unconscious, then sit down in a quiet place. Begin a slow meditation or slow breathing, and then be on the lookout for anything unpredictable that happens when you're meditating. That is, when you're meditating, maybe a thought comes up. Unpredictable. Wow, where did that come from? Or something in your environment, like in the case of me in the phone, or a feeling you have. Whatever it is, now focus your attention on that. Like, what is the meaning behind the meaning of that event? And let your unconscious fill in the details. And you will find out that with this exercise, you'll continue to expand those old beliefs that were keeping you from really becoming who you were meant to be. You'll find expansion taking place. This is a kind of interactive shamanistic technique. And it's also referred to as hunting for power. But power, I would say hunting for opportunities, hunting for synchronicities. You see, we all connected. As physics, the latest developments of physics point out, we're all connected. At the dream world, in the real world, we all have these experiences of connection, of sudden connection. I was just thinking about you and the phone rings. Well, that's synchronicity, or perhaps a deeper level of connection in the field, in the mind, in the heart. Remember, information is everywhere. It's not just inside of us or inside our body. It's also out there. We are in a sea of information, a sea of living information. And by becoming more adept at doing this on a regular basis, you will find you'll be able to step off your personal history faster and faster. Be able to look at the world through fresh new eyes. Feel and smell something different about the air. Feel it, hear it. To be able to hear different things of what people are saying that you didn't hear before. This is the beauty of this process. It's an interactive process where you're interacting with your environment, whether it be external, internal, or cognitive. At the end of the day, again, remember, put your hand in that special place we spoke of earlier. And remember, you're more than your personal history. You're more than what you think you are. You're more than who you think you are. You have this vast storage of possibilities waiting to be unleashed. You just got to get out of the way and let your unconscious do the walking. And you'll be pleasantly surprised as to what happens. Remember, it's all messages, whether the messages we get from our mind, from our body, or from the field. These are messages, and they're always, as someone once said, the universe is not it's not, things are not happening to you, they're happening for you. Just keep that in mind. There's a message. This is a way of integrating modern shamanism in your everyday life. Be able to see glimpses of possibility of what can really be happening. And more will be depending on that larger storage of wisdom that exists inside all of us. For too long, those beliefs that you used to have served a purpose. Maybe they were meant to protect you, they were meant to inform you, but many of them are outdated. It's time to let them go and put something better in its place. Something a little bit more uplifting, more expansive. And that's where you come in. And you'll find out that it's not about changing beliefs. It's just step off that timeline. There's always going to be too many beliefs. Just step off it and be able to look at the world outside your personal history. For a moment, you see the totality. You glimpse of what's really possible. You become more and more comfortable with that. So I hope you've enjoyed this session. For those who are familiar with my work, I'll be doing a workshop in August, focusing on shamanism and NLP and other modalities. And if I don't see you then, you can catch me at one of my festivals, one of the ones that I organized. Keep in mind that behind you, around you, there's always possibilities that can be explored, that you should explore. You're an adventurer in this place called life. So what I'm going to do at the end of this our session, I'll include in the link below places where you can reach me and information where you can find a little bit more about the work I do, which is ultimately about I'm a facilitator, allowing people to really become who they are. Sometimes people are in their own way. So I hope you've enjoyed this. You have a good evening, and I speak to you soon. Bye-bye.